this 14-year-old was playing with a cap gun or whatever and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And like, yeah, like it was crazy that like cops that it was like something real going on or whatever whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And like, boy actually like stopped playing with the cap gun or whatever. He left it in the house or whatever whatnot. You know what I'm saying? But the cop like ended up pointing his blade out or whatever whatnot. You know what I mean? And he told the one to drop the gun or whatever whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, he ended up like he let the boy right up in his leg or whatever whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Right up anyway. So the boy didn't even know like what went on or whatever whatnot. You know what I'm saying? All they just know is that he didn't know he was shot. You know what I'm saying? Right over that adrenaline be something else or whatever whatnot, you know what I mean? Until he started like walking, he urinated on himself or whatever whatnot. Then he like, just obviously like seeing that like, you know what I'm saying, bullet hole in his leg. And that's some crazy stuff, and that's some real. But anyway, now this cop tried to like, gain immunity for what he did to this kid or whatever whatnot. And they like, denied his immunity. And I'm glad they did that shit. Because he was out of pocket for that. And that's on bro. Anyway, now this like, gym employees or whatever whatnot. Like one of them called the police on this like, dude and his son up at the gym or whatever. For no fucking reason. Now I'm saying that's some crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? Real gang. I mean like what's nothing going on or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? For real though. I mean like shit. That was out of pocket for that shit. For real though. I mean like shit. And then when the cop came, he told him he had to leave the place or whatever whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he was like, why he had to leave whatever whatnot. You know what I mean? For real though. He was just like curious as ever. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn. So dude just left or whatever whatnot, but shit, I don't know. Them motherfuckers is something like, something wrong with their heads. They something like motherfuckers that like to play around with the cops and shit and just call them for no goddamn reason, and that's on bro. Anyway, now this family abused like 16 kids or whatever whatnot, you know what I'm saying? They kept them up in a room or whatever whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And it was nasty as hell. They abused them and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? And they got caught or whatever whatnot. You know what I mean? But real though. And shit. When they get caught or whatever. Now saying they didn't even take it take it as something bad and shit. You know what I'm saying? For real though, because they gave them a $300,000 bond. You know what I'm saying? They didn't even hold them accountable like that. And they would do other motherfucking people or whatever whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I mean shit, they could have did a lot of motherfucking years or whatever whatnot, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? For that shit. For real though. I mean I'm telling you, because it's crazy that they kept them kids from civilization or whatever whatnot. And that's some crazy shit. But they taking it easy like they didn't do that to these goddamn kids. And that's some crazy shit. They had the pocket for that shit, and that's on bro. Anyway. So now, as I know, Howard University reinstated the students that unenrolled or whatever whatnot, you know what I'm saying? Because shit, that letter that they sent was a mistake or whatever. And they reinstated 500 students. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't supposed to unenroll them in the fucking first place. For real though. I mean shit, because that shit crazy as hell. You know what I'm saying? For real though. Anyway, they tried to brush it off or whatever whatnot. You know what I mean? Just being like, oh, we did this, and this was a mistake or whatever whatnot. So they just actually enrolled the students back. Because why they fucking up their money if they unenroll people like that? You know what I'm saying? And that's on bro. Anyway, Now, this cop, like, actually it was messing with this, like, what I'm saying? Damn. Messing with this, like, dude or whatever. These cops was just messing with the dude or whatever, whatnot. Dude was a veteran or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And he, like, actually just, like, was up in his house chilling. The cop just, like, went up in his house for no goddamn reason or whatever. He didn't have no consent or whatsoever. Just messed with the dude. He just, like, went up in his house and all that shit. Just like, start talking shit to him, saying, you don't live here, or whatever, whatnot, you know what I mean? But right on, anyway, gang, he, like, place handcuffs on this man, or whatever, whatnot, in his own home, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It was, like, crazy shit, for real, though. I mean, like, shit. Yeah, the cop, like, actually, like, went up in that house without his permission, or whatever, whatnot, you know what I mean? For real though. And yeah, that was a break-in entry by the cops. For real though. I mean, like, that shit was crazy as hell. Anyway. So, shit, they, like, try to figure out who this guy is. He asked him for his ID and shit. And he didn't even give him a chance to get his goddamn ID. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy as hell. You know what I'm saying? That motherfucking cop was wild. You know what I'm saying? For real though. Anyway. So yeah, he actually just took the handcuffs off him, and he thought he was just gonna let that shit slap. That motherfucker took him out on a lawsuit like a motherfucker. For real though. Shit. And I bet he won too. You know what I'm saying? Won a whole bunch of money in that show, bro. Anyway, now these cops try to mess with this man. Another man, you know what I'm saying? Outside in a parking lot because he was practicing riding his bike right up in the parking lot because he put his bag down on that, like, you know what I'm saying, in that parking lot or whatever. And his partner, this motherfucker's partner, went to go get his bag, take his ID out. You know what I'm saying? Without his fucking consent. Or whatever, whatnot. And that's some crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? That's some crazy shit. They were like up there just like getting suspicious for no fucking reason. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, wasn't no kids out there or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, this was also the school or whatever, whatnot. You know what I mean? For real though. Anyway, gang. So, yeah, I mean, like, shit, he told them cops some else or whatever, whatnot. You know what I mean? I mean, like, shit, he was like, you know what I'm saying? He said he knew his rights and shit. For real though. And, like, they wasn't gonna fuck with him like that. You know what I'm saying? For real though. Anyway, so, yeah, I mean, like, shit, they, like, messed around again and again and again. And that shit was crazy as hell. Anyway, so, now, these, cops end up messing with this kid or whatever, whatnot. You know what I mean? And he was a, teenager. And he had his driver's license. He already, what I'm saying, graduated and all that shit, you know what I'm saying, took care of his business and all that, you know what I'm saying, for real though, the cops just mess with him just to mess with him, or whatever, whatnot, up there trying to see if he had drugs or whatever, whatnot, you know what I'm saying, and this is dude said he didn't have no drugs, or nothing like that, you know what I'm saying, he said he already, graduated from high school and all that shit, you know what I'm saying, with honors and all that, you know what I mean? For real. Anyway, so they out there don't believe the kid because why? They just actually just being assholes, just like usual. You know what I'm saying? For real. Anyway, so yeah, he took the boy out the car when he was talking to his moms, right on the phone or whatever, whatnot, and he was telling his mom what was going on or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And when he took him out the car or whatever, he asked him, did he have any weapons on him? He said no. He already said no when he was in the car or whatever, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And he up there patting him down or whatever. Next thing you know, the motherfucker partner, the motherfucker's partner go grab the damn canine out of the fucking squad car and then actually just take the can out over there to the car to like sniff for like contraband or some shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, that shit was crazy, man. I'm telling you. I'm like, goddamn, they just try to like find something. They just fucking with this boy just to fuck with this boy or whatever. He was hitting it to like, get a slushy or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They just fuck with him just to fuck with him. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I mean, like, that's some crazy shit. I mean, like, they just doing the trapping stuff just doing trapping stuff. They illegally detained this boy for real, and they illegally searched his like mom's car. Cause no, it wasn't his car. It wasn't his car. It was his mom's car. You know what I'm saying? When his mom's heard the shit that was going on, she went down there ASAP. She wanted to see what was going on with her baby. Real though. I mean, I'm telling you, gang, it was crazy. And he was just wondering who she was. She was the officer of the court or whatever, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Real though. I mean, like, shit. He was up there saying he's a good kid. He have his license. He already graduated. All that shit. You know what I'm saying? And like, he's a good kid. So why y'all stopping him or whatever, whatnot? And I see she said he was going to the store to get a slushie or whatever, whatnot. You know what I mean? Real though. Anyway, so they up there just waiting for hours and hours and hours to see if they could find this, find some contraband in the car or whatever. His mom was like, that's my call. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, shit. Ain't no contraband or nothing up in there. Ain't nothing illegal in there. They keep on asking the boy, do you have, weapons on him? Or whatever. He said no. He said, do you have drugs on him? He said no. And they pat him down again. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's some crazy shit. For real though. And then, when they, actually, was, getting through with, holding this boy up or whatever, whatnot, they gonna give him some papers so he could go to court and shit. You know what I'm saying? And that shit was crazy as hell. They was out of pocket for that bullshit. And they, actually, gave a settlement of, I think, thousands of dollars. For real, though. And that's on bro. But anyway, like, comment, and subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, hit the bell notification so you can see my next upload and my next post. And I'll make sure I make another one tomorrow. And oh yeah, you can check out my previous videos if you like, gang. So long, farewell, goodbye.